Marie Antoinette, showing she so misunderstood her own people's starvation crisis that she thought they could switch from bread to another carb. Well, they were out of all food. Critics see the same kind of problem for Trump as his top food official has advice for you, Americans, about how to cut back and maybe get by on eating on $3 a day.
We've run over 1,000 simulations. It can cost around $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing. And so there is a way to do this that actually will save the average American consumer money.
Where to begin? It's a paltry plan for getting full or nutrition. Many people are speaking up on this one, including making their own videos. Consider this a kind of a citizen ad to push back. We're seeing the pushback online. Trump ran on lowering prices. Now he wants people to just cut back on those little $3 appetizers or get very distracted by a ton of other things. But when staple products are up this much, it's very hard to distract people from either their shrinking banking accounts to buy the stuff, or their growling stomachs. As you can see, prices up over 10%. That's the New York Times report. While Trump is also getting rich off his job with side hustles and corrupt moonlighting that, as a factual matter, legally probably violates the Constitution and the law. You would need a Congress to investigate it and get all the facts, but that's what it looks like. We know that Trump's net worth has increased not by 100 million or 500 million, but by billions over crypto alone. Now think about the other things that they clearly feel free to do that might not have yet made the paper. He's also insisting on taking a luxury jet with him after office. That alone could be an impeachable offense if you had a Congress doing its job. I'm joined now by Chris Hayes, host of All In with Chris Hayes, of course. He's also the host of the Why Is This Happening podcast. And Dayenu, as if that weren't enough, the author of several books, including The Siren's Call, which has a attention economy analysis that we're actually going to try to get to in a couple minutes. But let's start with your thoughts on this affordability scandal.
You know, one thing that was interesting to me, I was looking at the CPI data that came out the other day. And, you know, it's like a basket of goods, right? So what people buy. And, you know, it was up, 2.7% in this last quarter. But you just showed the really important data. The irony here is that Trump has this obsession with groceries, which is a word he thinks he invented.
Sure,
I don't know if like he constantly is talking about like groceries. I want on the weirdest thing. It's like an old-fashioned word, groceries, because he's never, encountered groceries since the time he was a child. And quite ironically enough, that is the place where the most pain has been. I mean, on the thing that I think he correctly identified as the main pain point in 2024. That is the place where you've seen these huge spikes. We saw it in beef a little earlier in the year. That's now come down. You see it in a lot of different things. And one of the things I think we saw play out in 22 through 24 is it's just impossible to message around for an incumbent party.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? The worst possible message you could do is like have one broccoli floret and the corn tortilla and a piece of chicken.
Don't eat dinner.
Yeah.
Just have a really small snack.
Also, we've modeled thousands of meals. Like, what are you even talking about?
I don't know. I want to go to the attention economy. And we a lot of viewers maybe have read the book. If they haven't, it's worth checking out. But I want to show the Venezuela raid where Situation Room, which is serious business, has right behind them Twitter open, including the emoji. They've typed Venezuela into the search bar. I don't know if they had people ready to read Spanish tweets, which might be the one thing on the ground in Caracas that would be helpful. There's a critic, Don Moynihan, who writes that we're in a dictatorship where the administration isn't just using social media to shape a narrative, but its members are deeply addicted. He goes on to say, Chris Hayes has written persuasively about the toxic attention farming and how that is for us personally and for democracy, and the thirsty addiction here for clicks and content, which you've written about in a number of contexts. But the way it's going down with Trump officials has been mocked really perfectly by South Park.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Pete Hegseth, the Department of War. We're here to infiltrate this police station and extract the POI, because that's what we do.
That's what Homeland Security does. Be sure to like and subscribe, guys. We've got
Oh, no. This is not your content. Everyone like and subscribe to the Department of War.
Does this feel familiar for you?
I mean, it is amazing how just locked into the most pathological, toxic parts of the attention economy they are, how they've kind of become addicted to their own trolling. I mean, Trump is someone who has this sort of pathological instinct for and dependency on other people's attention.
Yeah.
That has now suffused the entire governing apparatus. I saw someone make a crack the other day, and I forget who it was, so forgive me, whoever I'm stealing from here, who said, you know, you used to have like Democratic politicians and people in the governing class who would say, stop paying attention to Twitter because it's not real life. Yeah. And now you've got a governing class that doesn't want to pay attention to real life because it's not Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like that's all they care about. And the reductio ad absurdum of that, of course, is planning a raid where people are going to get shot and killed and where U.S. service members might give their lives. And the thing up there is you're like looking at, what's the buzz on Twitter about it? I mean, presumably there's like some OPSEC reason, and they wanted to see if people were like, you know, tweeting about it the way the Bin Laden read got tweeted about or something like that. But it was just such a perfect encapsulation of the fact that they seem fully locked into an obsession with attention uber alles, disconnected from anything in the, quote, real world.
So how do you chart that from then Trump saying, oh, let's get the photo of this guy, and before we have our arms around everything that happened or the body count or where he's going to be in the U.S., he wants to, as a president, personally, his content, you know, Department of War, not DHS, post out the photo.
Because, that is the primary imperative for everything they do is content and attention. I mean, it's all content first. I mean, you know, we just saw an ICE officer shoot and kill Renee Good. And one of the strangest and most unnerving things about the sequence that led to him firing the 3 shots that took her life is that he's got a cell phone video in his hand the whole time. In fact, he has to switch hands to the cell phone so that he could bring out his gun and continues to tape. Like, what? Shouldn't you be focused on, like, why are you so focused on the camera? Why do you got the camera in your hand? And as best we can tell, and we haven't actually heard from him yet, but there seems to be a real directive to ICE agents to create as much content as possible. Right? So, like, even in this life or death moment, that is the overriding imperative, to the point that he has to move the phone from one hand to the other in the moment that he presumably, I think, would say that he, quote, feared for his life. Yeah, and you're reminding everyone, I mean, in training, the closer you get to potentially using deadly force, the more strict the steps you're supposed to take are. So if you have one of your hands doing something non-essential to the safety of you and the people you serve, that's already a training violation. But as you're saying, they're getting different feedback of, oh, we want to make scary videos. Yeah. And I think, you know, if there's any silver lining here, I mean, I think one of the things that they feed on is, you know, Donald Trump's main sort of winning insight is the value of negative attention. Yeah. Right? Even if it's not positive attention, it's attention nonetheless. There is a kind of diminishing returns to that. There are problems with that. That does come with costs. And I think one of the things you see is, like, they're making a spectacle in Minneapolis. People are paying attention. The polling we have shows that 80 to 85 to 90% of people have actually seen the video, have heard this news. It's penetrating. They're succeeding in getting attention. The problem is people hate it. Yeah, right? I mean, you're saying something really key, and it fits with what you wrote about in the book, that, yes, there's a trend up if all you need to do is say, I'm the thing. And now you matter in a campaign. Look at me. Look at us. And then the fall off is we're talking about 2 subjects, Venezuela and ICE, where Trump's numbers are down. And they got all the content, and some more people bought the Nike outfit. But 2/3 of the country is either negative or doesn't care about Venezuela. He didn't get something beyond the MAGA base. I want to turn to something fun because we do more than one thing around here. You do many things around here. Do you remember where we were? You and I? October 5th, 2018. No, I don't. Right? So we've never aired this on this channel. We were together. I was thinking about this. Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. Joyride? What? Joyride? No, like some secret, no. Thelma and Louise moment that people don't know about. Marie Antoinette was let them eat cake. In a more positive vein, we had the great joy of giving cake to a colleague in the wider media. Let's take a look. Oh, my goodness. Yes, I now remember.
Joy, we wanted to surprise you with two of the
Oh,
men
for
you
God's
cannot
sakes.
go to sleep without these days. Please welcome MSNBC's Chris Hayes and Ari Melber.
Oh, my God.
McCain was the iconic example of voting yes on the procedure and then voting no
Right.
when the time came.
Your birthday present isn't just the cake, it's also this briefing on Senate procedure. So fun.
I really went as broad as possible for the View audience.
What are your birthday tips? Do you have any fond memories? We've never aired that, and I said, Chris is here. That was a wild moment, and thank goodness they put on the 50 Cent to walk out. I think we all felt a little more sane.
I love doing that, and I was sort of tickled and honored that
Yeah.
this was the thing that Joy wanted. Well, I don't know if she wanted it, but they thought that she would.
No,
want
apparently
it.
they thought she
For her-
wanted because she is,
for
and
her
I say
birthday.
this with love across all three people you see on the screen there, she is an actual nerd. And so to her, this
Yeah.
was a cool thing.
Yeah, that was super fun, and yeah, I mean, isn't it wild that I just am sort of like time has stretched so much in the Trump era. Like when I hear 2018, I'm like going back and like, what was happening then? Like Donald Trump was
who knows?
like it's so hard to kind of locate yourself in time.
Well, we could locate you on here when they come back to you. Wait, we'll go back, rerun it. Because Hayes looks, both of us look younger there.
Considerably younger. Yeah,
I
we
think.
both do. Yeah, we both.
There you go. I mean, you look great.
Yeah. Well,
You look
thank
great
you.
now,
You do
too. You
too.
got
Same.
you know what? And your hair looks better now.
Well, the hair's holding up.
But, which is a great thing.
We'll take it.
But I just want to say shout out to Joy Behar and The View. And, well, wait, we need a tip. What was you got kids. What's a birthday tip? What makes a good birthday? Is it the food? Is it the guest list?
I think it's being with the people you love. It's all the people. That's the key. We just hosted a sleepover for my 8-year-old. It was super fun.
There it says. It says on the screen. Chris Hayes tips for a great birthday. Be with the people you love.
Be with
I think
people
it's
you love.
true.
Trite but true.